The high mountain plateau of Braeriach is very remote. Most people only climb Braeriach in one day from the north, but my plan was to take in two more munros, Sgor and Lochain Uaine and Cairn Toul. These two munros are normally done as part of an overnight trip somewhere. Now, the easiest way to access this area is via a Land Rover track going up Gleann Einich from the north, and you end up at Lochain Uaine. The route starts just south of Corrie, and that in itself is very close to the town of Aviemore. It's on the A9. It's easily accessible from either Inverness to the north or Perth to the south. So we're going to go on to the track and see what conditions are like. So it's another weekend and I'm in the northern Cairngorms, south of Toul and Braeriach, and we're going to be heading up to Lochain Uaine on Land Rover tracks. Let's have a look around. So we've got a footpath there, that's the Rothian Merchants footpath. So we go this way. Okay, it's a short distance. Most of this route is on Land Rover tracks, but not the first section. Okay, so once we get off this short length of footpath, we end up here. This is far more amenable to actual cycling. So we'll be continuing up this track to I think it's Lochain Uaine or Lochain Einich, I'm not too sure. Need to check my map. And we'll be getting right into the depths of some remote area. Okay, I've now risen out of the forest. So at this stage the view opens up and you can see the graded footpath has changed to a Land Rover track of I would probably say typical variable quality. So Braeriach on the left is definitely looking closer now. But there's definitely a certain degree of huff and puff with some of the rises on the Land Rover track. At one point I had to dismount entirely. So we get to a crossing for the river that flows down this glen. And we have to dismount. So let's get this bike over this barrier. Okay, let's head on across. And then we'll head on up the glen. So we're still on the track, but we are now in the upper glen and we are approaching Lochain Uaine, and I can see the Stalker's track that we're going to be taking branching off to the left, so there isn't too much cycling now left to do. So we're not quite at Lochain Uaine here, but this is the point where we turn off. So we have a little stone circle, and I've left my bicycle here, and what we have is a path going up this way, and this will rise up the side of the mountain in a fairly diagonal fashion. So we'll continue up into the corrie up ahead, and then we get onto the mountain plateau. So I'm now entering this corrie, and I've got a bit of an obstacle. Let's take a closer look. Footpath will carry on and we'll go up this corrie. There is, what I can see, there looks like a diagonal scratch which goes up this way and then that way, and that corresponds with what the map suggests. And I know this snow is very hard, so I crossed a couple of snow runnels, and I had to get past them. I had to divert down for the first one and up for the second one. The snow was just too hard with summer boots. Even though I've got an ice axe, I could cut steps, but I just didn't feel all that safe. Now that's a much steeper piece of ground. I could take an option up to the left there, but that's very steep as well. The other option is up this ridge here, and that looks steep from a distance. So I'll get closer, take a closer look, see what the options are, and hopefully we can get onto the plateau. So I've got a bit more height now. So over here we've got Sgor, and I climb that mountain fairly regularly from Gleann Einich, and you can see the corrie that I was intending to go up, and you can see that I'm not going that way anymore. So we are going to go up this way. It's a bit of a slog. Other thing I noticed was that I had a bit of a sharp pain in the front of my right knee, which happens from time to time. Not very nice. Found it when I was kicking steps. It also happens when I try and put some loads on it going uphill, so I'm not looking forward to the downhills. Right, onwards. So I'm now above the height of Sgor, and in the distance you can also see Craigmeggy, and you can see the Ben older munros just over there. So I'm very nearly at the plateau, and I'm just hoping it will burst into view here. Yes, it is. Wow. So over here we can see Braeriach with a good quantity of snow. It's a lot of snow. Now my mission today was originally planned to climb 3 munros, starting with Cairn Toul and ending up with Braeriach. Time is also marching on. It's about 12 o'clock now, and we'll see how well this snow supports my progress. Well, it's really quite a warm day, and there's no wind up here to speak of any substantial nature. Let's have a look around. So here we've got my first top, and this is 1,265 meters, and we're intending to travel towards Sgor and Lochain Uaine and then Cairn Toul, and it's very snowy here, but it's very peculiar as well. You've got Ben Macdui over here, and it's very selective which slopes have accumulated a lot of snow and which ones don't. But the whole of the Braeriach plateau is very, very white. Okay, this corrie is starting to open up. You can just see how big these cornices are. They're quite spectacular. So we've got, I think this is Monadmore to the right and Bain Bruton to the left. The best jewels and the Cairngorms are only reserved for those people who are willing and capable of putting in the effort. And using a bicycle is definitely a worthwhile strategy in order to unlock and reveal these views, and these views are magnificent. So this is looking back from where I've come from, and this patch of snow here is reckoned to be one of the oldest patches of snow in Scotland. That's according to my quite old guidebooks from the 1990s. They reckon the snow never really melts in this corrie. Now, in more recent years, it has melted, and it has been monitored by enthusiastic individuals. So, as you can see, there's enormous cornices which ring this corrie. So here I am, Sgor and Lochain Uaine. So we're going to do a 360 view. So we've got Braeriach up here. That's just under 1,300 metres. Then we've got Cairngorms in the distance. We've got Ben Macdui. Then we've got Benaverd. That's starting to lose its snow now. Then we've got Cairn Toul, Devil's Point. Behind it we've got some munros which line Gleann Einich. And we've got Ben Brotan, and behind it we've got Ben Aglow. So then we've got Aviemore. Can't remember the name of that mountain in the background. So let's take a look right in the distance. In the haze you can see Ben Alder, Munros, and then you can see Craig Meggie. And then here's the top that we came from. And right here, this is the source of the River Dee. That plateau has got what's known as I think it's called the pools or the wells of Dee, and it's that's the highest stream in the UK. It's about 1,200-ish metres. Well, it's quite a memorable day out. It really is. This is I'm just trying to think. The first time I was here was 1999, and it was covered in cloud. There wasn't any snow. It was in April, and it was part of my Munro bagging effort. Second time, 2005, that was with a group of friends. Again, no snow. 2009, I did this as part of an overnight hike from Linn of Dee, and I camped at the Wells of Dee. So it's a bit of a trip down memory lane, but this is the first time I've got snow, and it's a magnificent day, I have to say. But I've come to the end of this walk, and it's time to turn back. I don't have enough time to get over to Cairn Toul. If I did, my time back to the car would probably be about 8 o'clock-ish, and I haven't got reception here, so I can't tell anyone that I'm going to be late. So it's time to turn back. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. In the future, I'm going to plan it so that I get up maybe about 5 o'clock, and I will allocate a much larger portion of time for this walk. And if I could climb all three munros, Cairn Toul, Sgor and Lochain Uaine and Braeriach, that would be great. So now I am back on the snowfield. You get an idea of the sense of scale, how far this snowfield actually goes on for. It's probably the biggest one in Scotland, I guess. You know, even with photochromic lenses, walking across this stuff is extremely bright. I don't have the blinkers on the side of my eyeglasses, and they would be useful, I have to say, in these circumstances. But if you don't have glasses, it could potentially be quite hazardous being out on this snow. I don't find it all that comfortable with the glasses, that's for sure. So close to the edge of the snow now, following my own footsteps back, and finally something a bit more civilized in terms of luminosity. So here we can see Sgor, the other side, and we're quite a bit higher than Sgor on this side, and it just goes to show how the main Cairngorm munros really do rise head and shoulders above the surrounding mountain tops. I think it's a spectacular area. Okay, so the ground will get steeper now, and we then have a fairly straightforward descent back down to the bottom of the corrie, and then we meet the footpath and then get down into the bottom of the glen and back to my bicycle. I'm about level with this corrie here, so I've got maybe about 10 more minutes to go before I get down to the Stalker's track. So we will carry on and see how things go. So I've got this snow runnel. It's not quite as steep as other runnels, and this morning it was very hard, but now it's nice and soft, so it helps because all of this heathery stuff is really not very nice. So I am now right at the end of the Stalker's path, and so now it's time to get my bicycle onto the track and get back to the car. So back on the bicycle again, and it is a different set of muscles to be exercised now. It's a bit of a rough track. I'm out of water, so what I'll do is fill up my water bottles at the next stream. The track going up and down Gleann Einich, I wouldn't call a high quality track. It's quite a bumpy one, but still it's a lot better than just walking. So I'm back at the bridge again, and the haze seems to be lifting today, and we've got a nice magnificent view of Braeriach here. That's a nice finale. So it's now back onto the saddle and finish this bike ride. So now I'm back on a graded track, and not too far to go now, and there's a point after the bridge I showed you previously where the track splits. You turn left, you go up a steep incline, you turn right, and you've got the roughest footpath you can imagine, and I turned right and it wasn't very nice. I should have gone uphill. Right, here we go, here's the last stretch of footpath, so let's head off. Okay, so now I'm pretty much back at my car, so that is the end of the big long walk. So it's time to head down the road and get some fish and chips. So I hope you enjoyed accompanying me on my walk today, and thank you for watching. If you plan on doing this yourself, give yourself a lot more time than what I afforded for myself.